Well, I've asked it before, Buzz. What's that do for your heart rate?
It's just been like every team that goes through this in our league. When you make the transition from Wednesday, Saturday to Tuesday, Saturday, it just requires nine consecutive days of work, and regardless of result, when you're trying to give your best, that's hard. And I know it happens across the league, and I think when you get to this time of the year, it becomes more difficult, the transition. So since over the last 9 days, it's a lot. Arkansas on Wednesday, and then at Missouri on Saturday, and a quick turn in the early game tonight against Tennessee. So my heart is tired. I think our players' hearts are tired. I felt like that the last 12 to 15 minutes of the second half, and I thought that the fight and the determination and the togetherness and the spirit in which they competed in that state was as good as I've ever seen.
What was your perspective on that inbounds play where Wade got the steal to kind of secure things and his ability to kind of take a game, take a defensive play in his hands like that?
I think I know which play you're talking about. That was after the 13th review when it was their ball. They're hard to guard. Very talented. Number one defense in the country. Big, strong, physical, depth. Hall of Fame coach. Hall of Fame staff. And we had 3 guard rebounds, Travis, at halftime. They had 9 points on the offensive glass in the first half, and we only had 3 guard rebounds. And I think when you're playing a team that is so big and so strong, it just becomes a cage match between the forwards trying to get the ball. And so your guards have to be in the mix. And those 3 defensive rebounds that 4 had in the second half were huge. The 4 defensive rebounds that Dexter had in the second half were huge. The 3 defensive rebounds that Boots had in the second half were huge. I do think the steal was big. We slowed down their offensive rebound percentage, which less shots, more possessions for us. And I thought that ended up translating into we got to the bonus first, and that was really important.
Not necessarily asking about your take on the outcome of the reviews, but from a coach's perspective, that break and play, is that good to have that conversation, or is it bad to break up the flow? What's kind of the coach's take on when you have those breaks?
Yeah, obviously those 3 officials are arguably 3 of the better officials, regardless of whether they're primary officials in our league or not. I've tried to do better this year in my conversations with officials, and I know maybe my judgment on who they are at times is wrong because I look through it a coach's lens. But in the process of preparing for a game, I don't ask who the officials are until the last thing that I do before I go to bed the night before, because that makes me anxious. And I was so excited when I saw those 3 names in the text. They're as good of officials as there are. I'm a little confused on what signifies a review, like how you get to that point. I have a better feel for how it happens in the NBA than college, but those 3 guys, I just say thank you. But it is choppy, and that is one thing that we talk about. I know you know that we keep the down back and ATOs. Any pause, we keep it. So we've tried to turn those reviews into not focusing on, is it our ball, their ball, is it a flagrant one, or whatever it leads to. No, let's not even participate in the conversation. guys, if it's our ball, this is what we're doing. If it's their ball, this is what we're doing. And let's win this down and back. And tonight, there were 14 possessions of coming out of a pause, and we scored at 1.36 points per game, and they scored at 0.87. So we've tried to, in that category, whether it's a review or not, we've tried to turn maybe something that's harmful into good. I think 2 different times tonight, we thought it was our ball, and it went back to them both times in the second half. I thought our response was really good.
But it seems like, I ask you this after every game now, but the way your guys played when, I guess, the pressure was at the most intense point, have you gotten to a point now where you just, that y'all just expect that your guys are gonna make the plays that you have to make, when, at crunch time? Is it to the point now that, it's old hat, it's what you expect?
I think they have great belief in one another. I think there are genuine relationships that they'll have for the rest of their life. I think that they've been as accepting of our coaching as any group that I've been around. I think the accountability of our staff on a daily basis has been superb. I think they want to come to work. I think they believe that what we're trying to do is right for them individually and right for our team. And I think that over time, what's happened is because they're so familiar with our identity and the recipe that we have to play with, they hold one another accountable to those things that are not in the stats in a very sincere way. And I think in 2023, I think that's incredibly rare. And every game, it seems to be somebody different who has a superlative game relative to the box score. But I think in how we go about things on a daily basis, there's a genuine belief that we're doing things for the right reasons. And there's an anticipation, which is what feeds your energy, that good things are coming. And so when it gets hard, I don't think they're caught off guard by that, because we try to practice hard.
How did y'all do such a good job on Ziegler tonight?
He's so good. Their offense is so hard to guard. Coaches, I know I think this is his 30. He's 68. This is his 36th year. He's won 774 games. Went to 17 NCAA tournaments. Now, he was at Texas 17 years, so he's been to 25. He's been to 25 NCAA tournaments. He's played in over 50 NCAA tournament games. He stayed on the cutting edge, no matter what category. Like you spend so much time offensively trying to figure out how you're going to score on the best defense in the country. And then you start watching the complexity of what they do offensively, and we're like, we probably need to try to figure out how to guard that. And so you feel stretched on, are our guys prepared? And I do think, and I told Coach this before the game, they're playing without 30 and 2. And that changes their team. 30 is for sure been in their program 4 years. 2 is an early entry pro that he will be drafted before his college eligibility's up. And I think that changes the complexion of their team. And it takes all that you have to have a chance to beat them.
Was this the best environment or atmosphere you've played in since being at A&M?
Yes, sir. I don't think it's close. I think the closest one would be Arkansas last Wednesday, and the next closest one would have been the Auburn before that. We're so appreciative. I'm so exhausted that I probably am doing a poor job articulating what I should say. But, I mean, I see those students lining up coming out of my office at Reed, and the environment's just changed. The season ticket holders that are buying like football, basketball, baseball, soccer, track and field, swimming, equestrian, the whole thing, and they really just want good football seats, they come to Reed now. And they're not giving their tickets away, and the job that marketing is doing to sell what seats are available. Like I've been saying, I think it's becoming a hard ticket. And similar to the conversations we always have when I see you, it seems like, to Olin's question, well, man, last time you were really good, and then last week you were better, and then this week you're better. And I think that's what's happened at Reed. And we're so thankful because the energy that you get from the crowd is real. And in all of those games, it's been a needle mover for sure.
Was this a game that you talk about the recipe, getting to the free throw line, high percentage shots, offensive rebounding percentage?
Travis, we shot 82.4%. Coming into tonight, we led the United States in Division I in free throw makes, and we were second in free throw attempts. We were behind 0.7 to Pan American. I don't know when Pan American plays again, but that might put us first and first. I think we were first in the SEC in free throw percentage entering the night, and that should help keep us there at least until Saturday. Can't believe 4 missed one. What's he doing?
Just a perfect recipe, or a very good recipe game when you talk about y'all's recipe?
One of the things that I didn't say to you guys yesterday was 23% of their points in the last 6 games have come off offensive rebounds. That's a dramatic number. And then I think 25% of our points in the last 6 games had come from the free throw line. And then you look at tonight, we scored 68 and we scored 28 from the free throw line. I don't know what that percentage is, but it's higher than 25%. It's so important because for us, if we're shooting free throws before the free throws happen, before the foul occurred, it probably means that if they wouldn't have fouled, they were in rotation. So even if they don't foul, we at least have a chance for an offensive rebound. And we're a much better shooting team, like any other team, when the defense is in rotation. Very rarely are there fouls committed in the paint without rotation. And I think we've continued to find ways within what we're trying to do to accumulate points when the clock is not moving. I think that we had accumulated 6 team fouls at the first media timeout of the second half. And that's one thing that we talk about and we pay attention to, obviously, in whiteboard stats, but during the game. And the guys are very aware. And it started as a negative, right? In November and December, we were fouling way too much. I think we were 3rd in the nation in fouls. We were fouling. And then it became a study. We got to stop fouling and get fouled. And we took something that was harm and turned it to good.
Got time for a couple more? One more? About halfway through the first half, Wade and Boots started really driving the hoop. Was that something that was planned or just the way things worked out as the game progressed?
Yeah, that's what we want. We want to try to get in the bonus, which we did when we began to attack. We started running actions to get those guys try to get those guys in position to make a play for themselves or make a play for someone else, and or get fouled. Those are it's not like it's a secret. Those are for sure our 2 best guys that 4 got fouled 8 times. Jew got fouled 9 times.
Yep.
So it's pretty good.
That about as physical of a performance you've seen from Marble down low?
Yeah, it's just I'm sure those are career highs at Texas A&M. They may be his college career highs. He's improved so much, and I know we judge rebounding differently than most because it's so much bigger than the numbers. rebounding effort, the things that we hold our guys accountable to, and the clips that we show them. He even when he's not accumulating 9 rebounds, his effort on what we're asking him to do is a byproduct. Is other players on our team are getting those unclean rebounds because of his effort. And I mentioned it on the radio show. I know you listened to it, but I thought it was a good point. The more physical the matchup on Jew, I think the better he does. Like when he's getting banged around and it's just like every 3rd second it's a foul, and so they can't call it every 3rd second, he seems to be better. He kind of wants the physicality, and his baja, that's what we call it. Like when he can get his balance set prior to the catch or on the catch, once he gets his baja, like he wants to be hit. And I don't think most guys like that. You know, they want to play with some level of freedom, but he's wanting you to hit him. And he's so comfortable with the ball, regardless of where he's at. The action we ran when he was at the top of the key, a decoy with foreign boots, and then drive it, and it was an and-one. He's a straight line driver because he's comfortable with the ball, but the physicality at the rim, he seeks that.
All right, that's a wrap.